What is going on, you guys? Today I have another episode for you where I'm going to be reviewing a YouTube channel called Joaquim Badajo. And basically the title here is he asked digital nomads or foreigners that are living in Bali how they make their money and can live in a paradise. Let's get into it.
So personally, I'm making about $1 million a year in profit.
How much do you or are you able to earn as a YouTuber?
A stem cell researcher turned marketeer.
Here for $500 a month. You probably could.
Cash cow Casper. I'm a mindset mentor.
Oh wow.
Quite. A friend of mine is organizing a villa party and there are going to be a hell of a lot of digital nomads. I was like, I need to do this for you. I need to go there, interview some people. So let's go.
All right, we got our first person that we're going to interview, and this is also the person that is hosting this party. This is
Jordan Calderon.
And what do you do as an entrepreneur?
I run a couple of businesses. First one that I run is a digital marketing firm in the United States. We're currently ranked as a top 100 digital marketing firm. That company is called Strata. The second thing that I run is a personal brand, which is a wine company. So Jordan Alexander Wine, shameless plug.
And are you able to do your job from anywhere in the world?
All I need is an internet connection and my computer.
How much can somebody earn that is running a company like you?
The floor is maybe $50,000 to $100,000 if you put your all into it. The ceiling to that is pretty much uncapped. So personally, I'm making about $1 million a year in profit. This year we're actually going to be doing a little bit over that, which is fantastic. Really, the opportunities are endless. The earning potential is endless as well.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so before the video gets any farther, I want to make this very, very clear because it's very important. You watching this who is interested in working remotely, hypothetically, or starting your own business or being self-employed, being creative so that you can live in another country, work remotely, do your thing, live the lifestyle you really want. Start thinking creatively. So basically, a lot of people think like employees, and they don't think like a creator. So they're only following instructions like a freelancer or something, right? Like they're not really like doing their own thing, and they're reliant on somebody else's income or somebody else's business's income for them to make money. So this is super key because a lot of these guys started businesses or maybe are remote workers for some kind of company. Let's keep watching the video, but I want you guys to keep this in mind because you can set yourself free if you start coming up with these ideas of how to make money on your own. I mean, we live in a day and age where you can actually literally create your own currency. Like they're doing that kind of stuff with Bitcoin and things now. So there's a lot of potential coming up, and I want you guys to realize this. So let's keep going with the video.
That's insane. And what made you come to Bali?
My first time in September of 2023. I live in Los Angeles, California, and in Los Angeles, people don't really talk about Bali much. So as a result, I had no idea what I was coming into. So I thought I was just going to be relaxing on beaches for a month. I was completely wrong, and I'm so happy that I was wrong. I met amazing people like Joe here. There's an amazing culture of digital nomads who are doing a lot of really incredible things, and that is the reason why I am here.
Interesting. And for the viewers that are watching, and they might be in their starting journey of starting an online business, what would you recommend them?
You know, the first one is actually quite an interesting take, which is entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Some people actually mesh and perform best with a 9-to-5 job. You need to be very, very comfortable with losing. I'm being honest. You need to be very risk-seeking, understand that there's a lot of failure before you will see success, and it requires a very specific type of person. So the idea is to build something that is not dependent on yourself. Try to build and scale a company, but then remove yourself. So second thing is in terms of being able to scale, to be able to remove yourself from a business. Nathan Lodka, I always shout them out. He has a book called How to Be a Capitalist Without Any Capital, which is fantastic to read as well. And the third thing is grit, determination, and that comes from right here.
All right, how did you know that?
Yeah, so what he said, the first thing was really good. So generally, the percentage could change, but let's say 95% of people are going to be the same, which is why 5% of people are absolutely demolishing it. Like they're doing so well because they're creative with their life. They created a way to be a money magnet, basically, and they're living a life by design that they actually love because they love themselves and they're able to share that with other people. They're a giver and they share. You see what I'm saying? So this is really important what he said too, because if you have an inkling that this sort of lifestyle is for you, then you are on the way. I can promise you that you are on the way to no longer being a 9-to-5er, and all I can say is welcome. Let's keep going.
that kind of person?
I didn't. I kind of found myself kind of falling into this. So I went to a university in the United States called University of California, Santa Barbara, economics major. And the first day that I went into economics class, the first minute, I was super excited. And the 90th minute, I was very, 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 very disappointed in what I got myself into. And at that point, I decided to take the reins of my own career and say, you know what, I want to build something of my own. And so I started my first company that night, actually, in my college dorm room. So I ended up finding myself through trials and tribulations and a lot of failure, being and having a little bit of success at an early age in entrepreneurship.
Thank you for sharing. Why do most people fail, you think?
That's a fantastic question. I would say that people think that by being an entrepreneur or starting your own business that you have a right or entitlement to making money. You need to understand that you will probably be working twice as much time per week or per month as your friend and be actually losing money on a monthly basis when you go and start out. So you need to be comfortable with that. Understand that there is a lot of hard work that comes with this just to make your first profitable dollar, but that hard work usually does pay off. It is quite nice.
And what would your...
Let's add on to that, because I know so many business owners that have zero control over their time and they work 60, 80, 100, 120 hours. And look, like, I commend you for hard work. Now, there's a difference between working hard and working smart. A la, let's say, construction workers working 16-hour days, or doctors working overnight, 12-hour, 16-hour shifts. They should both be getting paid more. Now, this brings it back to the fact that you never really broke out of the employee mindset if you're a CEO of a business and you're still working that long. That might happen in the beginning. That's fair. That might happen in the beginning, although at a certain point you have to be able to let go, be creative, and start delegating things to people. So you actually have your financial freedom, which you started out for, and your time freedom. You know what I'm saying.
And be on a remote job.
I am such a pro. I think, having location flexibility and, if you do run your own company as well, time flexibility is one of the most important things to happiness, at least in my life, because I like to be free as a bird and be able to hang out with my buddy right here.
All right, thank you. I think that was very, very insightful and very helpful. And if you want to reach out with him, you will see his names on the screen, but also down below in the description. This is the second host that is organizing this villa party. And of course, we're also going to ask him some questions. So can you tell us who you are and what you do?
I am. There you go. So I'm Andres the Designer, aka Andres Gonzalez, aka The Dark Knight. I design apps, I design websites. I also have a YouTube channel where I talk about designing apps and designing websites, and I get paid for it, which is pretty awesome.
Wow, you do a lot. How much do you, or are you able to earn as a YouTuber?
So I make most of my money from YouTube on sponsorships. Right now I'm earning about $5K per month.
Okay. How much do you think you would spend approximately if you would stay here for a month?
I like to live luxuriously and overspend sometimes. But I think if I really was trying to be smart about it, I think I could probably spend anywhere 2K to 3K per month.
What made you come to Bali?
Meeting amazing people like you, man. No, seriously. Jordan came here last year and he was telling me all about it, telling me all the great people he met, and how to make it out here at least.
And this is maybe a question more for the people that are aspiring to become a digital nomad. Like, what would your advice be for them to get started?
So I think the best thing that you can really do is double down on a particular set of high value skills and identify what works for you. Maybe that's freelance writing, maybe that's design like me, maybe you're in software development. So just figure out a particular skill that is remote friendly and then learn to market yourself like an absolute savage. And that's kind of how you're going to attract clients for yourself and be your own boss.
And how much money you think they need to get started?
You could probably do like 2K per month.
And how much do they need if they don't have any skills yet, or like if they're still in that figuring out stage? Like, would you recommend them going to YouTube? Would you recommend them investing in courses? What would you recommend?
So the way that I learned specifically was through trying a whole bunch of different things. Bro, I thought I was going to run a Shopify store, become like some e-commerce brand. I thought I was going to run a marketing agency. I thought I was going to be a media company and just like create a whole bunch of videos. And so I tried a whole bunch of different things for like a year.
Okay, wow.
And so I had my job at that time, and then I figured out design was for me. And once I felt really
Okay, two things there, right? So, one, I like what he's saying. It's important to experiment to figure out what you actually like what resonates with you as a creative, and not just what pays the bills. So this is important to breaking out of this mindset and truly having your freedom. And the other part he said, I agree with halfway. So you want to be so good at something, such a great creator, that this is phrase, so good they can't ignore you. That means whatever you do, however you help people, it sells itself. Here's a great example. There's a lot of amazing restaurants, coffee shops, etc., that need to do zero advertising because all the locals know about it and they tell each other, and it's word of mouth, and they're like, you got to go to this place, you got to go to this place. That's how you want to be. That's how you want to be, because you don't need to learn copywriting. You don't need to learn all this crazy marketing tactics or sales objections, closing, whatever, right? Like you and what you do, how you help people sells itself because you're so good. That is so important.
Confident about that. I actually quit my corporate job with only 3 months of savings, no clients, never started a business before, and was able to get some clients within a 3-month period. But the only reason I think that really worked, and that's not what I would recommend, by the way, it's very dangerous. One is because I had faith, and B, I had a lot of conviction that design as a skill, and so it was something that I knew I can like obsess about and go really deep in.
So it's actually like also focus a lot on what you're good at.
You hear that? Obsess about and go really deep in. So he was really interested in it. He loved doing it. So that's super important.
And then use that to your advantage. And what made you actually, I didn't know you worked corporate before, but what made you want to quit corporate?
Bro. So I was in an analyst role when I was looking at Excel sheets all day, working from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I think it's just waking up Sunday nights enough times and realizing I'm hating my life. And I just realized like I'm getting older, life is too short, tomorrow isn't promised. Like why am I gonna spend time in a place or in a job that just kills me? You know, like time is actually your most valuable asset.
What was the biggest thing you were scared of making that switch?
It's kind of weird, I wasn't scared. I think the reason I wasn't scared is because I did feel like God was directing me towards that path, and God gave me direction throughout each step of the process.
And maybe last question, why do you think
So 2 things there. Self-belief is key. Believing in yourself, loving yourself, you'll easily be able to see this through. Having faith, trusting the process, letting go, and realizing, having the end in sight. The end in sight, the result, your vision for the future, and being able to feel that emotionally in your body is going to connect you with that. That's so important. And the other thing he said is great too. A lot of people wait to live their lives. How insane is that? They wait to live their lives. I gotta do all this and this and retire at 60, 70, 80. Hopefully, and then I can start going on vacations and enjoying my life and travel the world. How nuts is that? We live in a world. It's a funny movie, like a movie trailer quote. We literally live in a world where you can create the life you want. You can create your own currency. You can create a job, or you create a role in a way that you can help people. Remember that.
most people don't succeed in making that switch?
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably get lost in analysis paralysis, and in the stage of tasting a whole bunch of different things, they probably put too much pressure in the short term to try to figure everything out all at once, and then don't do the actual work that it takes long term to actually try everything out.
Thank you. Was amazing.
Follow my YouTube channel.
Go check his channel. Down in the description, you'll find everything. And I'll see you in the next one.
Andres the designer, okay?
All right, the next person. Who are you and what are you doing?
My name is Lara. I'm a stem cell researcher turned marketeer.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Okay, how did you get started with that?
I specifically work in the biohacking space, and it all comes down to my own health struggles. Didn't get the right care up until a point doctors told me cannot do anything for you anymore. I was 25 at that time, and with my science background, I was like, let's figure this out myself. I used biohacking, right science for me to reverse everything, and that's when I was like, I want to use this degree for the better.
Wow, that's hella cool. And you can do this from anywhere in the world?
I can do this from anywhere in the world. Yes, that was my goal, by the way. I wanted to become a digital nomad. That was my #1 goal.
Okay.
So
that's amazing. And how much can somebody like you earn?
well, I have an agency, so I started as a freelancer. I'd say I think I was maxing around $5,000 a month when I was freelance, but then I was like, full-time working. And right now, the sky's the limit. The bigger the agency, the more you can earn.
Amazing. And how much do you feel like this? You've been living here for a while, right?
Yes, for 2 years now.
Okay, so how much would you spend approximately on a month then?
I'd say, well, since the 2 years that I'm here in Bali, the prices have shifted quite a bit for rent. In the beginning, I had like $200 guest house, which was very, very cheap. That same guest house went up to $1,000 2 months after, and now I think that same guest house is at $700.
That's insane. That's a big leap. And you said like when you graduated, you wanted to become a digital nomad. Why was that?
I was inspired by people online, mainly on Instagram. I don't know if you know Jake and Marie. Okay, they're very big travel influencers, and they inspired me to work from anywhere. First, I thought let's become an influencer, and then I was like, oh, this is a lot of work, to like put out content. I was not super comfortable in front of the camera, and I was like, no, this is not for me. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe just using my my education with my passion, which was then biohacking, and something that I'm really good at, could then make my job. I used the concept ikigai. Do you know the Japanese concept?
Yes.
Right. Maybe you teach this already.
But tell them.
Okay, so what I use So it's like the intersection of, okay, what are you passionate about? What are you really good at? And what does the world need? The intersection of all of that. And then I just started trying things. So that would be my biggest tip, because in 2 years in my PhD, I knew I wanted to leave Belgium. I wanted to become digital nomad. I still had 2 years to go. So I was like, okay, I have these 2 years in front of me. I'm just going to try things. And I started to grow my network online via LinkedIn. I started already connecting with some remote first or remote only companies. Spontaneously apply, really know the company inside out, saying like, okay, this is what I did. I went to this different companies and I connected with the CEO and I said, well, this is what your company is missing right now. This is what you should be doing. This is how I can help. And this is why you should create this position for me.
Wow.
And 10 out of 30 wanted to hire me.
That's a golden tip right there. That's a golden tip. Just saying.
And then in the end, I actually got a call with someone who then became my mentor, and he saw something entrepreneurial or recognized something, and he was like, you have to start your own thing. And that's why I started my own thing.
That's inspiring. Why do you think most people don't take the leap or don't succeed in this journey?
I think mindset. I'm a little bit fortunate, I would say, like from a kid, my mom always whispered in my ear, you can do anything as long as you set your mind to it. So I don't doubt myself as easily. So just know that you have gifts to give and don't doubt that.
I think that is fantastic. So where can people find you? How can people connect with you?
My name is Lara Hemmerick, PhD.
Also, put it here and put it down below.
Yeah, because it's a pretty tricky, tricky name. Yeah, you can follow me there.
This is.
Oh my God, what is that?
It's a DJI
That's
Pocket.
a ridiculously
Cool, right?
monitor. What is this? A screen for ants?
All right. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, my name's Thomas, and I live in Bali and run a real estate marketing agency.
Cool. Why did you choose Bali and how long have you been here?
I've been here for 7 years.
What?
Yeah, and why did I choose Bali? It's many reasons. Initially, I think I chose it because it was very affordable. That's changed because it's not as affordable now, but also that's not really a primary reason for me any longer. It's just a convenient place to live. Yeah, it's the food is good, there's good co-working spaces, you meet good people, lots of reasons.
Interesting. And how would you say cost of living changed? Because you've seen it 7 years ago and you see how it is now. How much do you think you spent 7 years ago and how much you're spending now every month?
Yeah, like the crazy thing about Bali specifically, but probably all of Southeast Asia, is there's a huge diversity in people's budget. I mean, you could live here for $500 a month. You probably could.
Yeah.
It really does depend. I mean, you can go out and have a $150 dinner, or you can have a $1.50 dinner, right?
Yeah.
So and it's kind of nice to mix that up and do both.
What made you want to be able to work online? Like, what was that decision like? Like, did you work for a normal job before? Or?
So I graduated university with a degree in political science and economics, and I did do like an internship at like a research institute for, I think it was like 3 months.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Asia for a couple months. So I was gonna do Vietnam, Thailand, Bali, and a couple other places, and then just loved Bali, just loved Bali. And I was like, shoot, I really want, I stretched the budget a little bit for this 3-month trip. I was like, I'm gonna stay another couple months. Wow. And then I met a lot of people who are living here. Like, I'm my Airbnb host at the time. I was staying on Airbnb, I think it was literally like $12 a night. What? Like in a villa, like a nice room.
Why do you think most people don't really succeed in that journey of working online and making this happen?
I mean, I do think it's not for everyone. I do think that being a business owner is not for everyone. Starting your own business is not for everyone. And I think going from zero to something is really difficult. Once you do that, once you have made your first $5,000, and you've tested something's working, you can go from 5,000 to 50,000, probably easier than you go from 0 to 5,000, honestly, because it's really the initial, finding something that, you have to set up a website, you have to invest a lot of time up front, you have to have a delayed gratification. I think that, even for me, it is very hard to stay motivated. Motivation is very tricky, and there is kind of two different motivating factors. Like, either your back's against the wall, and you gotta make it work no matter what, or you're sort of have an optimistic outlook of oh, I'm really excited about making, you're comfortable. Like sometimes if you're financially stressed and your back's against the wall, people are not productive in that environment. But with some guidance, I think definitely can help. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, my man. All right. The next person is
Cash Cow Casper.
Okay, Cash Cow Casper. What do you do?
So I run faceless YouTube channels. Been doing this for 3.5 years now. And so I run these channels myself, and I also have a coaching consulting company where I help 9-to-5ers start and scale their own faceless YouTube channels so that they can potentially earn enough to have less worry about money, bills, and potentially can travel more and just do what they want and live life on their own terms.
Super cool. How much can somebody earn?
Yep, so blow up a YouTube channel without using your face, if that's something that maybe you don't want to do, and then travel the world, create your lifestyle. Being creative.
Faceless YouTube channel.
So from my clients' results, what I see on average is that within 3 to 6 months, it is very possible to be earning 3, 4, or even 5K from ad revenue alone.
Beautiful. Yeah. And what made you come to Bali?
Bali captured my heart when I was 12 years old already. I came here for the first time on a family holiday, and I surfed here for the first time in Uluwatu, and I immediately fell in love. And then I sort of after that set my goal that I wanted to be able to live a life where I am my own boss and can travel the world and just be flexible with my hours. When I was like in high school and studying, I always had this mindset of, okay, I have to learn how to make money online. And right after I finished my university degree, I was running a pretty successful dropshipping store, and that was making me more than enough to move to Bali and live here and do my own thing. Yeah.
Interesting. And how much do you spend on average, like living here in Bali?
1.7 to 2,000 euros a month, everything included. So like visa, house, scooter, food, sports, dinners with friends. I think somewhere a bit between that, yeah. And I'm a pretty conservative man, I would say. I don't excessively spend or go on very expensive dinners.
How much do you think you would spend in the Netherlands if you would live the same lifestyle?
It would of course be a lot more expensive because there's crazy inflation, right? But I think if you like here we eat out a lot, but that is almost like just having dinner at home in a way where we usually eat with friends and it's very normal and sometimes it's cheaper. But if you do like groceries in the Netherlands, it's maybe the same price as eating out here, right? So yeah.
What would you advise to somebody that is listening now and is like, hey, I would love to become a digital nomad? What would you advise them?
I think the most important part is to first of all work on your mindset and understand what you want out of life, how much money you need for that, and what it would take to live a life like this if that is what you want. Second, you need to learn a skill. So the best thing I think you
Design your life. So basically write it down, write down your vision, visualize it, close your eyes, feel it. How do the emotions of that future you feel? And you can basically be that person right now.
do is learn something that doesn't cost you money. So I think it's better to do something, for example, like sales, where you put in your time and you get rewarded with money for that time, but you don't have to spend money on it. But if you do have money to invest, you can try these higher risk business models. But I think for most people, it's probably safer to build up a skill next to their job. And once they have enough savings and money and earnings from that skill, then they can like quit that job and go travel and do things. Yeah.
Right. And why do you think most people fail? Maybe because you're a coach consultant, like you have worked with people. Why do you think most people do not succeed in starting a random online business or their online journey to live a digital nomad lifestyle?
The biggest reason people fail is because they're in Bali and they're like, oh, I want that too. And I am down to work for that and give everything up and do that. But once it actually comes to the work, 1 week, 2 months, they quit or they don't do it or they try something else. And they don't put enough time in the skill to learn the skill to actually make money from it. And yeah.
So check this out. That is like the hockey stick effect. So down here is where all that's happening. Oh, it's not working. Oh, I'm not seeing the result. And you keep yourself stuck in a cycle and you reset. You go back. You keep going back. And then it just creates this scarcity, lack mindset, and you don't believe in yourself. When if you just kept going, you start to see this little curve start to go up, and then boom. And that's why most people don't reach that point. So keep that in mind. You know, it's great examples, like even people who want to get in shape and they're working on their diet, like tweaking it. It's not going to happen right away. Same thing with your body, your fitness, or any other thing that you want to accomplish and be good at, or like really reach that life you want. It's not that far off. It's really just your mind tricking you, and then you keep resetting yourself into this loop because of your old habits. It's like your old life is trying to hold on for dear life, and it keeps resetting itself, keeping you scared rather than moving forward and having the life that you really want.
You just get distracted. A lot of people don't realize how much you have to give up when you're starting to make this into a reality.
Thank you. What do you think about getting a remote job?
I never had a remote job. I always worked for myself, so that's a little hard maybe for me to answer, but maybe more freelancing stuff. Yeah. So the people that do work on European times with a remote job or whatever, they have to work like midday to evenings here because they work on that time zone. So I think you can do it for a while. I wouldn't do that just because then you have to live up to another schedule where you live here, but you still have to work on weird hours, and I would not be happy having to work every afternoon and evening till late.
And every day, like. Where can people find you?
So YouTube, Casper Vendery, Instagram, Casper VDR. I have, click here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, the next.
That's super key, by the way, because you get stuck on your employer's time or the company's time. So even if you're in Bali, if you have a US job, right, you have to wake up super early, right? That's just like one example. Or they get to decide when you can take a day off. They get to decide when you get to take a vacation, right? There's all these different things that they're sort of dictating, and you're just the good little employee following rules. And look, like if you're doing a role that you really enjoy, then I support you for sure, 100%. Like if you love it, then hell yeah, right? This is no judgment on that. This is obviously for the people who are really genuinely interested in breaking out of that and fully creating the life they really want. Like, how could you provide value with something that you love and that you're good at and get creative so that you can make online income from that? This is the key takeaway from this video.
Is
Steph,
and what do you do?
I'm a mindset mentor.
Oh wow, cool. And how long have you been in Bali?
3 months now? Yeah.
Oh, so is this new, this digital nomad life for you?
It's fairly new. Yeah.
Okay. And as a mindset mentor, like how much could you make as a mindset mentor?
Oh, bro, sky's the limit. Like, obviously, it depends on how much you think you're worth, right? But I would say you should make a minimum easily of like, let's say 70, 80K a year. You know, that's what you should be aiming for as a minimum. And I'm aiming at a minimum of 100, 120K per year. That's kind of the goal. Yeah.
All right, perfect. And how much do you think you spend here in Bali, like cost of living per month?
If you go out eating regularly and you just live in a very nice place, depending where you live, of course, right? I mean, most of the people live in Canggu. I live in Ubud, so it's a little bit cheaper for sure. But I would say, yeah, count on $2,000 USD, 2.5 maybe, something like that. Yeah.
And what made you want to become a digital nomad?
Freedom, bro. Like, just the freedom to go wherever I want to be. Like, I don't want to be stuck in one place. I just want to be able to go out and about wherever I want to be, you know, doing my thing and having the flexibility of not being stuck somewhere because I need to make money somewhere and work a job. No, I just want to be traveling the world, going out and around, doing the thing that I love. Yeah.
Interesting. And when did you know that you wanted to do this? Because did you have a normal job before, or?
So yeah, I've been in real estate in Belgium. I quit that job 2.5 years ago. So obviously you can't go anywhere if you're in real estate. Like, you just have to be there, right? But yeah, I've always had this urge to like go out and go travel and explore the world. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing in Belgium? You know, like this country's too small. So yeah, it's been there for a long while, but it's only been this year, so 2024, beginning of this year, where I felt like, okay, I really need to go for this and just make the jump, like not wait, stop waiting, just pack your backpack and leave, and let's figure it out from there. Yeah.
Interesting. And what would you advise to somebody that is thinking about becoming a digital nomad?
I would really ask myself, like what is it that you really want? Not coming from your ego or whatever it is. Like, no, from your heart. What is it that you really want? It's not just that. You also have to get your shit together, right? Sure. You also have to know what you're doing. You have to have the business, and you have to kind of know what are my plans going to be for the next couple of months and years and whatever. So it's not just jumping in it completely blind. Like, no, like know what you want, because if you're just doing it because it looks nice from the outside because everybody's doing it, then don't come here. Don't do that.
Knowing what you want, aka having the end result or the end in sight.
Because you're going to get smashed in the face, you know? Life is going to teach you a lesson. You don't even need to know, this is the most important part, you don't need to know how. If you really know, like, this is what I want to go for this, okay, perfect. Focus on the end goal. Focus with the end goal in mind. And the how will reveal itself if you take the courageous steps and if you jump into the fears of, like, what's holding you back at the moment, right?
Yeah. Do you also think that's the reason maybe why most people fail? Because sometimes we see people, they come here and then eventually it doesn't work out.
One, maybe because they're not really committed. And as soon as things get tough, they're like, oh, fuck yeah, this is maybe not for me. I'm just going to go back home, back into safety and do all these things. But it takes courage to do these things. I'm just starting out. I'm just taking a huge risk and a huge leap of faith, right? But that's because I believe in myself. I've had multiple moments where I thought like, oh shit, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to go back home. But that's not what I want.
Because I can guess that a lot of people that are watching right now are on the fence like, hey, I want to become a digital nomad. Hey, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. And everybody's advice is a little bit different than that, right? But you would say like, just take the plunge. Of course, maybe have some savings. I don't know how much savings like do you think they should have before they leave?
Yeah, of course. Like I would say to be a little bit safe, like make sure that you can at least survive for like 3 to 6 months. Okay. So like if you have enough savings to survive for 3 to 6 months, like what the fuck's holding you back? You need to have a bit of a plan to like know what is it I'm actually going to spend my time on here doing, right?
You're a very interesting profile, you know, like most people are like have a different view, but like you just recently took that leap, so it's like nice to have that fresh energy, like where you are still there. A lot of people ask me to get a remote job, you know, like for them, they think that's the fastest way to like live this lifestyle by having a job that would hire remotely. Like, do you have any opinions on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it depends. If you're already an entrepreneur or starting your own business and you're still doubting if you want to go abroad, then I would just kind of say like take the leap of faith, because probably it's the thing that you really want to do. One, it's not the only way. There's a lot of different ways. Like you don't know how you can make life happen for you, right? But if you feel like that's the way you want to take, okay, why not? Don't just do it because you're going to be able to travel. No, do it because you actually want to do it.
Right. I think that's amazing advice. Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Well, there's not much more to add there. The end in sight and having self-belief, not doubting yourself, actually loving yourself. And I know if you're watching this video, you're either there or you're on your way soon. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You got this, bro.